So this is the last part of our lecture in the immune system. So we will now be discussing about what happens if the immune system, there's a problem with our immune system. So as from what we had discussed so far in the last 4 parts of the lecture, we can say that the immune system is actually a very delicate system. It's very complicated. It has many parts working together to actually provide defense to our body. Now, one of the things here that is quite very important for the immune system is of course balance. Basically, too much activity and versus too little activity. So if there is too much activity, our immune system is too active, it will see everything as an enemy, and it can mount a response that should not be. For example, the trigger is not really harmful to us. It's not at all harmful, but it mounts an aggressive response that might basically kill us off, basically. And sometimes it doesn't trigger a response at all, or it's too weak. It triggers a response, but it's not enough to actually fight off the infection, and we will die from the infection. So the immune system must always maintain this balance. So we will look at some of the scenarios where this balance is upset, something goes wrong. So the most common one is allergies. So we have allergen, which is a substance that is ordinarily harmless, but it stimulates an immune response in some people. So examples of some allergies or allergens are drugs, food, pollen, dust mite, feces, fungal spores, venom from bees or wasps. And then the allergy is the scenario where you are sensitivity to an allergen. Aside from the allergies and allergen, a more dangerous one is the autoimmune diseases. So this is caused by inappropriate responses to normal body tissues. So when you have an autoimmune disease, that means your own immune system is attacking your own body cells. So they cannot recognize that this is a friendly, and they are basically you are under friendly fire from your own immune system. So first exposure, remember, first exposure stimulates B cell to secrete IgE, which anchors to mast cells and basophils. So upon later exposure, the antigen binds to the IgE, triggering histamine and prostaglandin release. So basically, this is our humoral immune response. The antihistamines dampen the effects of histamine. So basically, when you have an allergy, this is what happens. So you are exposed to your source of allergy, your allergen, and then basically it activates your B cells to secrete the IgE. So of course, it generates a cascade of reactions leading to the enhanced production of histamines. So one of the ways to actually combat allergies or allergic reaction is to inject antihistamines to us. So antihistamines, they dampen the effect of histamines. So what are the allergic reactions that we can see? So you have skin reactions, or rather one of the basically allergic reactions that can be observed are reactions in the skin. So skin reactions are cell-mediated responses. So when you have allergic reactions, you basically sneezing is one of the ways to actually eliminate the virus. Usually this is caused by pollen. When you inhale pollen, so the allergen enters through the nose. Of course, the reaction of the body is to flood the nose with mucus containing the antibodies to actually prevent them from entering. And then here is a contact type of allergies. So your skin become itchy and swollen. So here is an allergic reaction to a component in the ring. So you have your swollen reactions here in the skin. So that's where your cells are mounting a response to a relatively harmless allergen. So immune defenses that eliminate a threat can also damage body tissues, causing serious illnesses. So you have anaphylaxis, where huge amounts of inflammatory molecules are released all at once. Fluid leaks from blood to tissues, causing dramatic drop in the blood pressure, and we call it the anaphylactic shock, and people can actually die there. So severe episodes of asthma or septic shock occur when too many neutrophils degranulate at once. This is called the cytokine storm, and this was observed in COVID patients. The cytokine, sometimes it's not exactly COVID that kills you. What kills you is the cytokine storm, the very, very aggressive immune response against the virus. So for the autoimmune responses, you have lymphocytes that do not discriminate between the self and the non-self, and they target the body tissues because it's abundant here. There are many, we have many enemies here and then fire away. So you have immune evasions, pathogens interfering with host or adaptive immune responses. This is one of the issues with some of the diseases that we have. So we have pathogens have also developed ways to interfere with adaptive immune responses. Case in point here is that tuberculosis. The latent tuberculosis, the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is the causative agent, is sleeping inside our lungs. They're there. They're not very active. Your body doesn't really realize they're there, but they're still there. And our body doesn't know that they are there because they have managed to evade the immune response. And then we also have immune deficiency. Primary immune deficiencies are that we have a primary immune deficiency which is which starts at birth. So you are born with a very defective immune system. So those people are called the bubble babies, where they have to live most of their life in a very sterile environment, basically a sterile bubble. And then you have the secondary immune deficiency, which is the loss of immune function after exposure to a virus or other outside agent. So example of that is AIDS, the autoimmune, which is caused by HIV. So AIDS is the most common secondary immune deficiency. So this one is caused by the HIV virus. This virus cripples the immune system. In fact, the target is the helper T cell. So the 32 million people are known to be affected worldwide, and as of now, we still do not know how to properly get rid of the HIV. Still no cure. Actually, HIV was considered, I think it's, when you study HIV, you must be in biosafety laboratory level 4, at least 3, but desired is 4 because this is for handling dangerous substances, biological agents that has no cure. So HIV mainly affects the macrophages, dendritic cells, and the helper T cells. So here is the global HIV cases. Oh, by the way, as of the previous decade, that's around 2010s, 2014s, HIV has at that time, I don't know currently, but around 2014s, HIV has been the highest increasing, one of the fastest, if not the fastest, rate of increase in of cases in the Philippines. So that means during that time, there's a really very fast the growth of cases of HIV, the growth of reported cases of HIV are actually, we are the highest in Asia. We are the second highest in Asia for HIV cases. We are not the first, but we are very the rate of increase is, we are the highest rate of increase. So and one thing about HIV, not all well, of course, for the diagnosing HIV, these are basically you need to find the virus. And also this is for the cases or the people that actually get themselves tested. And in the culture of us Filipinos, we don't really go or we are not really fan of going to the hospital for every little thing. So we first try home remedies before actually going to the hospital, which is really not a good practice for us. But that has been our culture. So I expect that even though we had our cases should be higher, because some people really doesn't want to get tested for HIV, probably because of the social stigma associated with HIV, because HIV is also a sexually transmitted disease. So you have for the other side, so you have immune system that becomes less effective in fighting the virus. So you have secondary, basically for HIV and AIDS, or rather AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency. So you have the AIDS doesn't really kill you. The HIV virus doesn't really kill you. It just weakens your immune system. But because you have a weak immune system, your secondary infections, when you become exposed to a secondary infection or even a tumor for a cancer, your immune system is helpless to actually fight it off. And that's what will ultimately kill you. So, transmitted through unprotected sex. So, basically, it's HIV. So, mothers can also transmit the virus to the unborn child by inside the womb or by breastfeeding them. So it can also result in infected blood in syringe. So AIDS test check the blood, saliva, or urine from HIV antibodies. But the only reliable ones are those in the clinical setting. So there's no way to read the body of HIV. There's no cure for those infected. So most treatment drugs target the retroviral process of multiplying inside our cells. So we have protease inhibitors that prevent viral proteins from assembling. So that's one of the drugs. So far, it's not that we are completely helpless. We still are in the process of actually developing antiviral drugs for that. So the most successful cocktail is the 1 protease inhibitor plus 2 reverse transcriptase inhibitors. So basically, what we have here are drugs. These are newly developed drugs that targets enzymes that are inside the cell. So one of the ways basically to increase this effectivity is delivering the proper treatment to the proper cell, because the HIV is inside our own body cells. So HIV mutates very quickly, so there is no vaccine, or it's very difficult to actually develop a vaccine that the HIV doesn't evade, or well, basically we need to outwit the HIV virus in order to actually prepare a vaccine. So a promising strategy against this one involves reverse engineering HIV antibodies from people with AIDS. So preventive use of a drug with 2 reverse transcriptase inhibitors greatly reduces HIV infection rates in high-risk population. So right now, the best way to do against HIV is education. So prevent having HIV in the first place. Okay, so that's it for our lecture on the immune system. So thank you for listening until the end.